Build 42 Unstable has been out for a couple months now, and while it's been a lot of fun with the new map additions and changes to the gameplay, once you play for a little bit, you start to notice some things seem a little unbalanced. Or maybe just not fitting with how Build 41 plays, which is understandable, and I feel like some people forget that this is still an unstable version of the game, and is still going through active development. With that being said though, here's how you can improve Build 42 Unstable with a little tweaking in the Sandbox settings. First thing we want to go do is go down and check Advanced. This will give us more control over some of the Sandbox settings if we need them. Under Zombie, we want to turn the zombies' hearing down from random to poor. I found by doing this, I was able to fight smaller groups of zombies without constantly dragging more zombies into the fight. Because sound can be a little wonky in this game, so making all the zombies equal and having poor hearing helps even the playing field a little bit. We don't want to touch zombies' sight as not to make urban exploring and combat too easy, but at least now this will cut down how many zombies are getting pulled towards you as you fight. Under this setting, we also find transmission. I always set this to saliva only because lacerations and scratches from zombies only have a possibility of turning into a zombie. So it's a tad annoying getting a scratch and not really knowing if you're going to turn into a zombie or not, so you're just wasting more time on a character who's already dead. This option feels more in line with how most zombie infections spread in media, so there's no guessing or waiting to see if you've already been infected with the Nox virus. The next thing we want to do is adjust the zombie population, as most towns and locations in general have a bonkers amount of zombies. In my first couple of playthroughs, I was spending several days just herding zombies away just so I can loot 1 or 2 buildings. It makes sense in order to slow down progression, but it really takes a lot of the fun out of exploring and looting. So for this, we want to set the population multiplier and population start multiplier to low. Low in Build 41 made it feel like there was basically no threat of zombies, but low in Build 42 now feels almost like what normal felt like in Build 41. I also turn off zombie respawn, because realistically, zombies shouldn't just magically reappear in areas that you've already cleared. It makes sense for them to migrate from one area into another, but they shouldn't be able to respawn. Under loot, we turn off maximum looted building chance, because there's nothing more upsetting than clearing a building like a gun store and getting absolutely nothing in return. For loot rarity, I like to bump all the values up to 0.60, as I don't want to be finding dummy loot when I go out exploring, but I do want a little bit of a higher chance of finding newer items or items that you need to progress, because Build 42 adds a lot to the loot table. Under character, I cut muscle strain and discomfort in half. I really like muscle strain because it's a realistic way of slowing down progression, but sometimes it feels like it's slowing me down a little too much. So reducing it by half feels like the best of both worlds. Discomfort also gets reduced by half because frankly, in an actual zombie apocalypse, I wouldn't be complaining about discomfort. I would be wearing whatever I needed in order to protect myself. Yeah, it does make sense, you wouldn't be too happy doing it, but considering the circumstances, this is one of those things that you'd probably be able to ignore. Before moving on, I also like to set the maximum dismantling XP level to 10. Reverse engineering or dismantling items and furniture to see how they're made is a fundamental part of learning, especially in a situation where there's limited media to guide you and no one else to teach you skills. Not being able to level up skills by doing this really limits the ways you can level up. I would rather have more options for progressing than less. Also, I like to bump the global XP multiplier to 1.2. It helps speed up skill progression a little bit without going too far, I find. And under vehicles, I like to set the vehicle spawn rate, chance it has gas, and general condition all to normal. I like having increased vehicle spawns because sometimes you can get unlucky, just have the same vehicle spawn over and over again, and it's especially helpful if you're playing with a lot of vehicle mods, so there's a larger pool to pick from. I like having the general condition bumped up, because while it does make sense that the only cars left behind as everyone fled are the ones that don't work so well, it can be a little tricky if you're trying to find certain parts to repair particular vehicles. Auto shops and garages will only take you so far. That's all the notable sandbox settings I use. I imagine a few of these will probably not be needing changes come the proper Build 42 stable release, but for now, they're making the game a lot more enjoyable. I can see a few of these maybe being controversial, or people simply have other different opinions on how they want to play the game, or how they want the game to feel, and for that I encourage you to leave a comment down below, and share if there's anything you do different or any settings that you agree with.